All right, welcome back to our Training Day podcast. I got my great friend and awesome dude, Ryan Koske, the vice president of FFL Verum Vitae, an elite producer, always Hall of Fame, got a group that's growing and exciting. And it's always good to have you on, Ryan. As I always say when we talk, you're just so real and just, your delivery's so like forceful, but so smooth. Like no one's confused, but you get your point across. And I always love that about you. And it's always one of my favorite things to have you on the podcast. So how you doing, my man?
Mark, I'm doing wonderful. Appreciate the kind words, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, it's exciting to see the growth you guys are having. Coming off your best month ever. First, your best 5-week month in August, then you beat that in September. That's more than 20% growth in a month. So things are moving in the right direction. And obviously, you've always leading from the front, selling a boatload, helping a lot of families. Talk to us today about some of the things that you've adapted, some of the things you're learning as you're starting to push the needle forward. You've been with us a while, but you've always had success, and now you're starting to have success, more team success. That always comes with great growth.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, it's been a journey. Every year I feel like there's so much. Every year I'm like, wow, I learned so much this year. I don't think I could learn that much again. And then God humbles me and helps me learn a lot more. Um, but really, man, I think the biggest thing is just understanding. And Sean Mike and a lot of people say this all the time, but you can't have a big ego in a big business. And the more success that I find, and I don't say that to brag, but that's just how it works. Like the more business that I write, or the more that my team writes, the more that I realize, it really isn't me. It's these people that are around me that are helping me out, and I just see the growth of a lot of my agents and a lot of my managers, and now they're starting to help grow people. And I feel like that's honestly the number one thing, man, is just understanding that you're not special. Because if you think that you're special, Mark, then your agents are not gonna. They're gonna feel like you're special as
Mm.
well. You may be special, but if you feel like they're special, then they're not gonna. They can attain your level of success. But if they're like, oh yeah, Mark's an average Joe, like yeah, I could do at least what Mark does. I'm probably more talented. Then they're really gonna have that belief. They're gonna have that buy-in, and you can't replace the buy-in, right? Like that's not something that you can produce or manufacture. That has to be authentic and genuine from the
Mm.
agents. And I just think that comes from a spot of being humble and genuine and real with people. And when you're real and you're genuine and humble, people will want to trust you. And if you believe in your system, then they're going to believe in it too.
I love it. Now, you're saying that like it's new to you. It might be. Or is it a reminder? Is it something you've been growing in? Is it something that you had to take a step back and like maybe you were doing it wrong? I don't know the answer. What would you say is the revelation there for you?
Yeah, I would say um I mean, for me, it's just been seeing what like year one
Mm-hmm.
in the business. This is my third full year. The like December will be the end of my third full year.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back, the what has helped me grow, like year one, um, I kind of let a lot of stuff get to my head. And I don't think I have any agents that I brought on that have stuck with me from that first year.
Wow.
And a lot of that was because where my head was at. It was a little bigger than it should have been
Got it.
at the time. And I think that hurt a lot of agents because I couldn't understand why they weren't working as well, in my mind, weren't working as hard as I was, or didn't want to achieve the things that I wanted them to achieve.
Mm.
And then so just along with some of that, some of the failures kind of teaches you the humility, and then
Mm.
changing up that approach there. And then I've just been really seeing this year, how much better that the team has been doing, now that I'm trying to change up the approach like that.
Dude, I got probably a really good dose of humble pie myself with the same exact situation, right?
Yeah.
And I think that people who do great and achieve great and know how to get things done sometimes look at the people that are with them like, where y'all at?
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times I felt that in my career early on. Um, but what you realize is it's not where they're at with the hands out. It's meeting them where they're at. And that took a
Yeah.
long time for me. So I appreciate what you're saying, but dude, that is amazing growth, right? Like that is amazing internal growth. You challenged yourself enough to run a scan, run a Koske scan, check yourself out, see what you're learning, see what's the problem, why, and you've come up with, hey man, it was really my goals for them, not their goals for them, right? How many of them would probably
Mhm.
be hanging around or be doing maybe better if it was their goals for them, not your goals for them, which is challenging because your goals for them wasn't to hurt them. It was to help them. That's the balancing beam of like, okay, I'm here. We're doing this thing. I love you, man. Where are you? Right? So I'd love to hear from you on that.
Yeah, I think that there's of the agent, I think I brought on like 10 in my first year. I
Mm-hmm.
think that 4 or 5 of them for sure would have stuck around. You know, that you're never going to get 100
Right.
percent
Sure.
of people staying around. It doesn't matter what business you're in.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do think 4 or 5 of them could have stuck around, and it's 100% exactly what you're talking about because I'm getting frustrated that they're not committing to the goals that I assigned them, which were never their goals in the first place, you know? And it's such a ridiculous, yeah,
That hurt my stomach.
such a ridiculous thing, but just learning that it just helps me. Now I'm so much more patient with people too.
That's amazing.
And I used to just get so frustrated, and now I'm way more patient with people who write a lot less, who work a lot less than I would have been, back in the day with people who were maybe doing 20, 30, but I was wanting them to do more. Um, it's such a big deal just meeting people where they're at, and they're going to feel like you actually care about them and their success if you know what their goals are and if you just help them achieve their goals. So that's what I do with agents now, Mark, is when I sit down with a brand new agent, I'll tell them, look, I want to know what you want out of this business for your personal life. Like, how do you want it to change financially? Do you want more freedom with family? Do you want to grow a big business? Do you want to pass something on to your kids? Right? I want to know your goals. And then I'm going to help you understand what you'll need to do to achieve those goals because we
Mm.
have a roadmap. We know what it's going to take at any level of this business. And then I find their goals. I let them know what they'll need to do as far as activity levels and money spent on leads to hit that. And then I ask them, Mark, if I'm going to let you come onto this business and I want to make sure that these are your goals. This is what you want, right? And
Mm.
they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And this is what you're going to need to get there. Are you willing to commit to doing this? Because I'm willing to commit to helping you and holding you accountable to this. But are you going to commit to these set activity goals? And if they're like, yes, I can and I want to, that's my goal. It's such a more healthy place to start because now everybody knows the expectations.
Mm.
And they know what they're supposed to be doing, and I know what I need to help them do. And just setting the expectations like that has drastically changed the agents that I bring on and the amount of them that you know end up sticking around.
That's awesome, man. But that's so critical. Um, but it's great because you have the aspirations to do great things, and greatness or Rome is not built in a day. Like you have to go through the things you
Mhm.
went through or going through to get there, and you're learning that setting expectations is a two-way street, which is awesome because it actually your company is growing, right? So the things you're changing and have changed are working. There's no debate. We're literally seeing the fruit of the changes you made, which is fantastic. Now, you're still out there leading from the front. You're still helping, last month, 44 families. You're still helping a bunch of families every single month. What is going into now the balance of recruiting, managing a team, a growing team, and producing? For the person out there looking to get an understanding of that, what does that look like for Ryan?
So I think the first thing that's really important is to have like a clearly defined schedule, because that's not something that I had. Year one, I struggled to keep agents around at all. Okay. Year two, I was keeping agents around, but my personal life, my relationship with my wife was suffering a lot. So I kind of had figured out the agency building side, and I still was writing at a high level, but I didn't feel like I had the freedom that I should have been able to have, right? Like the job was still real stressful. I still was working all the time. So that's what year three has been learning that journey of, okay, how do we keep producing at a high level? And at the same time, because agents require a lot of time, a lot of attention, a lot of training, a lot of role play, right? And how do we balance that? And I think the first thing is just having a clearly defined schedule. So for me, I don't necessarily have like set work hours, but I run 20 appointments Monday through Wednesday, and then 20 appointments Thursday through Saturday. So what that's looked like lately has been 5 to 8 appointments on Mondays and Thursdays, 8 to 10 on Tuesdays and Fridays, and then Wednesdays, maybe Wednesday and Saturdays, like 3 to however many I need to finish that 20. So that's the first thing. I know exactly how many appointments I need to run, because if I don't write business, then I don't pay payroll and the team doesn't grow, and I don't pay for leads. So we got to make sure that's in place first, right? So then from there, it's okay. Now I know when I'm running appointments, and I know when I have time to train agents. So like Mondays and Thursdays are my setting up my schedule days, right? That's when I'm booking appointments, and at the end of the day, I'll reach out to my agents, the ones who need help with role play or we need help finding leads for. That's when I'm setting up times with them to work on, to do those things. Usually I like doing all that stuff on Zoom with them. And I think that that's the main thing, is because when you get into like a rhythm and a flow, you don't feel like you're working that hard. I've written more business this year than any other year, but I feel like I'm working, and I am working fewer hours to write that business than I have been. And it feels like the work is a lot less hard. And that's because I've established a rhythm and a flow, and I'm comfortable with that. And so now it just feels a lot easier. So I think that having that rhythm of sort of knowing your schedule and your calendar is really important, and it'll allow you to give devoted time to your family, and then also to your agents that need help with training and everything.
That's critical. That in and of itself is a clinic. I pray to God people listen to that and play that back. For my edification, can you do me a favor and give me the run schedule one more time?
Yeah. So I run 20 appointments Monday through Wednesday.
Yep.
And 20 appointments Thursday through Saturday.
Got it.
So that's 40 a week.
Yep.
But I do 20 and 20 so that I don't get overloaded. Like, I need to book,
right.
I'm working on booking 40 appointments, right?
Right.
So I book same day sets, same day next day, because that's what people show up the most, same day next day. So on Mondays and Thursdays I typically run like 8 to 10 appointments with same day sets or appointments booked the day before. I'm usually dialing every day from like 8 to 10. As long as I'm not in an appointment, I'm dialing every day from 8 to 10. And then Tuesdays and Fridays, I'm trying to run 10 appointments. And then Wednesday and Saturday, I'm just filling out the rest of my schedule. So if I need to run 5 extra appointments, then I'll book 5. If I need to run 2, I'll book 2. If I don't need to run any, if I did 10 and 10, then I'm good. I don't have to run appointments Wednesday or Saturday.
I love that. Thank you for break. So just so I got this, if you can so when are you booking for Monday? On Sunday or Monday?
I'm booking a Monday morning for Monday and Tuesday.
Okay. I love this schedule. This is so
and I'm trying to book 12 to 15 on Mondays. Every half of the week is the same. So we'll just talk about Monday.
Right.
Because the next half of the week is just repeating.
Yep.
So Monday morning, I'm dialing heavy from 8 to 11:30 because I get hungry and crankier on lunchtime. So I go to lunch at 11:30. So from 8 to 11:30, I'm trying to book 12 to 15 appointments. And then I'm typically done dialing for the day, and I'm just running appointments, and then I'm training agents. After lunch, I usually have 2 or 3 hours where I'm training agents, and I'll have 7 to 10 appointments from like 3 or 4 to 10 p.m. And then Tuesday, I'm just booking, I'm trying to book the rest of the 20. So 5 to 8 appointments on Tuesday for Tuesday or Wednesday. And then everything else in between, that's when I work with agents. That's when I, get dinner with Anna. That's when I golf if if I'm having a stressful week, right? Get out on course. That's when I do all the
I love the flexibility here. At Tuesdays and Fridays, you're balls to the walls. You got the thing on max.
that's we're running appointments all
And
day.
Mondays and Thursdays, because of the dial schedule, it's the same thing. And then there's a ton of flexibility on Wednesday and Saturday. Yes, by design. But still 40 appointments, guys. Like this is amazing. And then Sunday's off, correct?
Yep. Yeah. And typically I've probably averaged 3 appointments on Saturday for the last month. Like I don't run a lot of appointments on Saturday.
How about Wednesday? Similar?
Wednesday, I'm usually around 5. It's similar, but I'm usually a few more on Wednesday. Monday is a busy day with trainings and like manager calls and things like that. So I typically get to dial more on Thursdays than I do on Mondays.
Got it. So I think the key here is, as you said, a clearly defined schedule. Isn't it funny when the schedule is clearly defined, as you said, you don't feel like you're working as hard? You're working hard. Like I'm looking at your schedule, bro. You're working hard. You have, real goals, real appointment counts. You're not messing around with it. You're true to it. You understand how to do it. And you also have time to recruit and deal with agents and time for family and time for yourself. Isn't that like, bro, that is the zone. You're in a zone right now. How does it feel to be in a zone?
Yeah, it feels like, to describe it to anybody, it feels like, I don't know, like you're a passenger in a car and you're not the one driving, so you don't have to pay attention to the road, but you're driving on a really scenic route through the mountains that's winding. The car's going 60, 65 miles an hour, but you don't feel like you're doing that, right? And you're looking and you're like paying attention to all the beautiful stuff that's around you, and being able to enjoy life. That's I would say is pretty good.
This is a good season. I want to. This is a good season. It always feels like it'll be like this forever, and I'm not saying it's not going to be. This is a really good season. I vividly remember this. How many staff do you currently have?
Yeah, I have one full-time staff, and then I have two VAs in the Philippines. So I have a recruiter / executive assistant.
Okay.
And then I do have two VAs in the Philippines. One of them books appointments for my recruiter, and then the other one does like data entry stuff.
Got it. So what a great setup, man. How do you like your staff setup currently?
I feel like it's at a really good spot. I used to have more staff, and I used to think I needed more staff, but similar to the way like year one, I was like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to accomplish what I can accomplish. I don't, what I want to accomplish, I don't have any more time. You refine things, you figure out where's the fluff, you cut the dead weight, and you streamline processes. That's kind of what we've been able to do, is just figure out, okay, what's not essential, what's not helping that much, what do we not use, how can we cut that out, how can we make it so that one person can do what 3 people were doing before. And it's not that I'm overloading anyone with work.
Yep.
It's just, streamlining things. One of my favorite books ever, Mark, have you ever read the book 2 Second Lean?
I have not.
All right. So this book, this guy, he has like a cabinet. He sells like the some stuff for cabinets. I forget exactly what it is that this business that he started. But so his philosophy is for his employees, because at the beginning of the day for his employees, when they're building these machines or whatever it is that they build, it would take them 45 minutes to set it up and about 10 minutes to take it all down. So they're spending an hour a day just setting up and taking down. That's obviously not producing any money. That'd be like if I spent an hour of my day organizing my leads. It's not helping me make money, right? I'm not dialing, I'm not booking any appointments. So the philosophy that he established, Mark, was you should make an improvement every day that will save you 2 seconds.
Wow.
So it's not a big improvement you're looking to make. You're not looking to overhaul your process. You just want to make a 2-second improvement every day. And he said that within 45 days, these guys got a 45-minute process down to 2 minutes of setup and just 30 seconds of takedown. Just by something as simple as looking every day for something that can make your life 2 seconds quicker, 2 seconds easier. And in your business, that can really help you out, because if you look at your business, man, my business or anyone's, I'm not speaking to yours specifically, but there's probably so many things in there that you're wasting time, money, or resources on that you're either not using or are not helping like you think they are. So if you're always looking to improve and streamline, like, you're gonna be so much more efficient. Yet again, it's not that you're looking to make 1 or 2 giant improvements that'll make it night and day between today and tomorrow. You're just looking to get a little bit better every day. And if you take that philosophy, I call it 2-second lean. A lot of people, say, hey, get 1% better every day. I call it 2-second lean because of the book.
I like it.
But if you take that philosophy into life, your personal life and your business, you're going to be amazed at what you can accomplish in a smaller amount of time, months down the road, looking back, just because of the small improvements that you've made.
That's fantastic. I do like that. I love the 1% rule what people talk about, but this is a different take on it. And but it sounds like you didn't just read it, you're applying it, right? Like, that's the key to any of the books or podcasts or anything you're watching or listening to. You're actually applying it. So it's showing up like big time in this conversation, where I've broken down, or you've broken down, these places that you're winning in, and how, it's creating this overall kind of momentum and success, which is huge in our business. Speak to, Ryan, if you could, the agent. You've been doing this 3 years. You've been doing it well for 3 years. You're getting better every day, right? Speak to the agent who is exhausted after 3 years, or exhausted after 5, or, you've seen it. You've seen it with people. You've seen it after 6 months. You've seen it after 2 years. You've seen it with partners around you. You've seen it with people that have been in the business longer than you. And you've seen it with people that are in the business with you, that you've hired. Speak to us, or speak to this agent on how the way you're zoning makes this business amazing, but you would never have gotten here if you didn't continue to challenge yourself. I think people find their version of this, right? This zone you're in, and they think it's set for life.
Yeah.
And when it changes, they get upset and frustrated, and they kind of fizzle, their brain melts, and they fizzle out or fizzle down. I've seen it so many times. You obviously have done a really good job of making sure the main thing's the main thing, and working within the the time frames of what you're giving yourself to succeed. You're not saying, I make more money in 40 appointments, but I still run 40 appointments. Because you could go to 20, you can go to 30 appointments, right? You're efficient. You're winning. Why do you keep driving it? And talk to the person that thinks this is the time to coast.
Yeah. The first thing I will say is, if you are not willing to adapt, you will be left behind. This business, Mark, you've been at this a lot longer than I have. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about how for 2,000 years or something, like, we relied on horses. There was an entire industry built around horses, carriages, blacksmiths, an entire industry. Within 20 years, from 1919 to 1939, that industry was completely erased. A couple millennia of industry and domination was completely replaced by cars and the automotive business, right? And if you're not willing to adapt, you will get left behind. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, and there's certain times, I think that the life insurance space, Mark, has changed so much just since I've been here. I'd be interested to get your take on this. I think you've been 10, 11 years now?
Yeah, 12.
12. Okay. So the first 8 years compared to the last 4 years, has the last 3, 4 years changed a lot more than the first eight? Like, what's your take on that?
I mean, I think you're right. I think I actually love it. I think it's always been changing. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
But the speed of
Yeah.
what's been changing, because this industry's been around hundreds of years, and you hear a lot of people talk about how archaic this industry is, right? From a technology standpoint, and this and that and a blah 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 blah. Well, COVID sped up the technology advances. You know what else sped up technology advances? Integrity. Like at the end of the day, COVID forced us to do things differently. Automation became more important. Telephones became more important. Face to face became less important, which meant that all the systems you need to run and effectively in office deal, you needed more technology. Well, Integrity acquired their first company in 2017, so they're running alongside kind of this they're blowing up through this time period, and they're like, hey, we're going to change the industry. We want to innovate insurance. We want an insure tech company. We want a company that's heavy, robust on technology, and they're the biggest player on the block. There's no way for the carriers not to make changes, for everyone around that ecosphere to go, oh shoot, if I want to do business with these guys, I have to change. If I want a piece of this pie, I've got to maneuver. And then
Yeah.
they buy all these companies that are also now moving in this place because that's where it's going. That's the vision. So it's changed dramatically, my guy, in the last 2 years, three for sure. Then in the first 9, I was in the industry straight.
And that, dude, that's the thing, man. It's like sometimes you're gonna be okay, not making changes for a while. Let
Mm-hmm.
other people make mistakes, and then follow them. But you don't always have that luxury, and you kind of have to be able to realize, okay, when do I need to change and shake things up? And I think that that's partly instinctual, right? Just like understanding introspectively, like when it's time to make a change.
Mm.
And sometimes you can, if you just pay attention to the people around you and the trends, like you'll understand that. But something that I do every couple months, every month, a lot of times every couple weeks, is and I think every agent should do this. It doesn't matter what business you're in, you should be doing something like this. Is I'll take a look back and I'll look at what are my pain points,
Mm.
what are my stressors, right? Let's look at like from an in-home, like a sales perspective, right? So in
Mm.
my sales process, where am I losing people?
Uh,
What line do I
ha,
say
ha,
where
ha.
they react negatively and their body language changes?
Mm.
Where do I start to lose them? Every couple months, you need to look at your
It's good.
process and think, what do I need to change? What do I need to adjust? And that's how you become better. I haven't overhauled anything since like 7 months in, but every couple months I change the
Yeah.
way that I say a certain line.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring my voice down at the end instead of up, right? Or I'm changing one or two words here or there. And now I've got a process, Mark, where I feel like my in-home process, every single word matters, is valuable, is important, and helps me close. So
Mm.
if I take anything out of my sales process, I'm not going to close them, because the one thing I took out, that's the objection that's going to come at the end.
Mm.
And I feel like there's nothing that I need to say that I don't say, because I don't say anything that doesn't add value or doesn't help me close. And it's gotten that strong because every month I just look back and I ask myself, where's the pain points? What can I change? What can I do better? And again, I'm never looking to overhaul, but that 1% or that 2 second lean attitude and mentality, I'm just looking to make a small change that'll help me out. And then over the course of 2.5 years, it's just drastic how much better, how much more efficient it is.
That's amazing. Bro, wealth of knowledge here. Love the trajectory. Love the zone you're in. It's going to help more people than you know, because you're teaching people really good sound. Like this is like really good sound principles, um, between a clearly defined schedule, running the amount of appointments that you run, meeting agents where they're at, helping like just like an overhaul for you of what you've realized in year 3 and what it's going to do for you in year 4. Makes sense? So I'm excited for you, Koske, man. You are the man, bro. Thank you for jumping on with us and sharing a wealth of knowledge for everyone to take in, man. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Mark.
Thanks for listening, guys. Training Day. Ryan Koske. Love y'all. Peace. Thanks, Ryan.